In the heart of East Africa, where the earth pulses with ancient breath and the sky stretches endlessly above golden plains, lies a place carved by time and teeth, the Masai Mara. It is a kingdom without walls, ruled not by crowns but by claws. A land where glory and violence walk side by side, where every sunrise writes a new chapter of survival, and every sunset takes a life. And for a time, the kings of this wild empire were not myths, but real breathing creatures. Among them, none rose higher or fell harder than the lions of the Black Rock Boys. In 2017, 9 lion cubs were born under the same sky, from the same pride. In the rocky cradle of the Mara, they were not just siblings, they were a prophecy, a coalition destined to rise, to dominate, and they did. But among those 9, one lion would stand apart, not for his roar but for his silence, not for how many battles he started, but how many he survived. His name was Oloshipa. Today we tell the true story of that lion. Not a fable, not a fantasy, but a real life, forged in hunger, sharpened in blood, and remembered in dust. This is the legend of Oloshipa, the last shadow of the Black Rock Empire. Life in the savannah does not wait for innocence. It tears it from you. At just 2 years old, the 9 brothers were cast out, not by predators, but by their own pride. In the wild, young males must leave, or be killed by their fathers. It is the first law. And so, barely more than cubs, they were exiled, unskilled, untested, and alone. The open plains showed no mercy. Hunger gnawed at their bellies, prey outran them, and worse still, they weren't alone. A pack of hyenas picked up their scent. Not scavengers this time, but executioners. In the chaos that followed, the bond of brotherhood was splintered. 2 lions were torn apart, their bodies devoured, their roars silenced forever. A third fell days later from his wounds. What had begun as a journey of 9 was now the struggle of 6. Among the survivors, something shifted in Oloshipa. He didn't rise in rage like his brother Lobo, who slaughtered hyenas in retaliation. He didn't charge blindly, he withdrew. He watched. He learned. He began to move not with bravado, but with strategy. While Lobo earned the title of assassin for his fury, Oloshipa became known for something far more dangerous in a lion: restraint. He rarely roared. He did not lead, but he endured. And in the wild, survival is leadership. By the time they reached maturity, only 5 lions remained. And in their silence, they carried the weight of those they lost. The wild had shaped them with claws, but none more deeply than Oloshipa. While the others were defined by scars you could see, his wounds were hidden behind his eyes. And in those eyes, the savannah saw something rare, a lion who remembered. In a coalition of giants, he was the quiet shadow. While others roared and charged, Oloshipa watched. He was not the biggest, he was not the loudest. He did not seek dominance, and yet among the Black Rock Boys, he earned his place, not through show of strength, but through something rarer: endurance. As the years passed, Oloshipa became known for his peculiar nature. He often wandered away from the group, disappearing for days at a time, only to return calmly as if summoned by instinct. Rangers and photographers noted it. He always came back. In a land where dominance is written in battle scars, Oloshipa remained intact, not untouched, but unbroken. His face carried no deformities. His stride was steady, his presence oddly composed, but his silence spoke volumes. While his brothers fought for mating rights or marked territories with aggression, Oloshipa took a different path, often staying close to the prides, especially during moments of vulnerability. He was strategic, calculating, some even say more patient. He fathered cubs, protected females, maintained balance, and yet he remained in the background of the calm between storms. The lion many overlooked until they realized he was always still standing. To the outside world, Oloshipa was just another male. But to those who followed the rise of the Black Rock Boys, he was something else entirely. A lion shaped not by dominance, but by restraint. A survivor not despite the silence, but because of it. For a brief, brutal moment in time, The Black Rock Boys ruled the Mara. After surviving their exile, after burying their brothers, the 5 remaining lions rose with the kind of power that reshapes the land. They returned to the territories of their birth. And in an act of violent destiny, they did the unthinkable. They overthrew their own fathers. In a coordinated attack, they battled the old kings, their sires, and took the throne by force. To ensure total dominance, they slaughtered all 15 cubs in the pride, eliminating future threats. The savanna does not mourn such things, but the dust remembers. With the rival males driven out and the pride subdued, the Black Rock Boys seized 2 of the most coveted territories in the region. Fig Tree and Olare Motorogi. These weren't just victories, they were coronations. Oloshipa was there for all of it, while Lobor led the charges, and others basked in the fame of bloodline conquest. Oloshipa remained the quiet constant, not the warrior king, but the architect behind stability. The coalition soon gained a reputation among guides and researchers, not just for their dominance, but for their boldness. They hunted what others feared, buffaloes, massive, muscular and deadly. Feeding on them made the Black Rock Boys stronger, more muscular, more feared. And Oloshipa, always close to the prides, sired multiple cubs, his legacy multiplying in the grass. From 2018 through 2022, the Black Rock Boys were untouchable. No coalition matched their size. No predator challenged their hold. And in every photo, every sighting, there was always that one lion at the edge of the frame. Still, steady, enduring. Oloshipa. But no empire lasts forever. And in the Mara, power always comes with a price. The Black Rock Boys had risen like legends. But legends fall must not always in battle, sometimes in silence. The cracks began in 2024 when the coalition's leader, Lobor, vanished without a trace. Days turned into weeks. Hope turned into whispers. Whispers into truth. His body was never found. Only rumors remained. Some said he died fighting a rival coalition. Others believed he was speared by Masai herders, retaliating after a livestock kill. In the Mara, even kings can be felled by a single mistake. Then came Lord Lupi, found dead under suspicious circumstances. The official report claimed he'd been injured by a massive eland antelope. But guides who knew the land and knew the politics whispered otherwise, another human kill, disguised as nature. That left only 3. Oloimina, the injured but fertile brother, Orpadan, the tactical hunter, and Oloshipa, the silent one. But Orpadan would vanish next, a disappearance that mirrored Lobor's no body. No closure, just emptiness. The once feared coalition was now reduced to 2 aging lions, stretched thin across too many prides, defending too many borders. The Salas Boys, a rising coalition from the east, began pressing in, younger, hungrier, faster. Oloshipa and Oloimina found themselves on the defensive, patrolling endlessly, trying to hold a kingdom built for 5 with only 2. But Oloshipa was changing. He wandered more, spent longer away. Not out of cowardice, but as if he already knew. The empire they had built was fading, not in fire and war, but in erosion, one lion at a time. One border lost after another, and in the eyes of the last remaining brothers, you could see it. The storm was coming. The final days of Oloshipa were shrouded in silence, just like the lion himself. The last confirmed sighting placed him on the edge of his territory, patrolling alone. The Salas Boys were close, too close, pressing in with the confidence of youth and numbers. Oloimina, his last brother, was nowhere in sight, and so Oloshipa stood, not just as a guardian, but as the final shadow of an empire. Then he vanished. Days passed. Then a week. Rangers, researchers, and photographers, all who had followed his life, feared what they already knew. When a lion like Oloshipa disappears, he doesn't come back. Eventually, a body was found, half consumed by scavengers, decomposed by sun and time, but identifiable. It was Oloshipa. What happened to him remains a source of debate and grief. The first theory was the simplest: killed in combat, defending territory against the Salas Boys. He may have sustained internal injuries, trauma or infection, and succumbed shortly after, a warrior's death. A lion's rite of passage, but another version suggested a swift ambush. That his preference for isolation made him an easy target, cornered and killed before he had a chance to fight. And then the darker theory emerged: poison. Reports began circulating that Oloshipa may have attacked livestock during a night patrol. In retaliation, Masai herders, known to defend their cattle fiercely, may have struck back. Spears laced with poison are not uncommon. They don't always leave visible wounds. Conservationists raised alarms: the lack of trauma on the body. The way his death mirrored those of his fallen brothers: quiet, quick, covered up. The authorities were slow to respond. Some say they attempted to suppress the truth, fearing backlash. But the truth had already spread, through images, through voices, through the grief of those who had followed his life for years. Oloshipa was dead, and no matter the cause, one truth was certain: the Black Rock Empire was no more. Oloshipa did not die on camera. He left no epic final roar, no dramatic last stand. He died the way he lived, on the edge, in silence. But to those who followed his life, who walked the Mara with lenses and journals, who tracked his movements through years of dust and blood, Oloshipa's story remains unforgettable. He was never the alpha, and never the loudest, and yet he outlasted nearly everyone. He was the quiet spine of one of the most formidable coalitions in lion history. His cubs still walk the plains. His blood runs through the next generation, and somewhere in the grasslands, his last brother Olomina may still be holding the line, alone. But more than just legacy, Oloshipa's death has become a mirror, our symbol of the fragile truce between human and wild, a reminder that even kings are vulnerable when survival collides with territory, livestock, and politics. The dust has taken him. But his shadow remains, not in roar but in reverence. This was not a myth, not a fable. This was Oloshipa, the last shadow of the Black Rock Empire. If this story moved you, if Oloshipa's journey meant something to you, then help us keep his memory alive. Subscribe to the channel to follow more true stories from the wild, where every lion, every shadow, every heartbeat matters. Leave a like, share this with someone who cares about the wild, and join us in giving voice to those who no longer have one. This is not just a channel, it's a place where legacies live on.